Good morning, everyone. It's Lindsey Huddleston back in the building with another SPS Monday Motivation. This is the 313 edition coming at you live from the east side. That's right. Representing at my mama house, sitting on the couch, getting down with you guys. I was down here last night, had a good time. Got to go check out Michigan versus Oakland. Boy, even though it was, somewhat of a mid-major versus a major, that Michigan team, they got approximately 3 7-footers. They run, they shoot. Hey, watch out for University of Michigan not using this year as a rebuilding year. They may make an impact. Dusty May and company there was good to see Coach Campy and everyone. But with that being said, Michigan State fans should be happy this weekend. Had a successful win over Iowa. It was good to be in the building. And it was there that I got the inspiration from my Monday motivation. As you guys know, I always get my Monday motivations from my personal experience or from the headlines. But I was up top in the press box, and I got to see my guy. Shout out to my guy, Jeffrey Howard. You see Jeff? You don't know Jeff? Jeff's the wrestling coach as well as golf coach at Sexton High School. Shout out to the J-Dubs. I got love for the J-Dubs. You know, outside of Henry Ford High School, J-Dubs put me on, if you will, years ago. And that's probably the background of the story. So I was talking to my guys. We always do. Here's a picture from a few. That may have been last year. Got my guy Vern in the middle, but that's Jeff right there and myself. And he was talking. He was very complimentary about the platform SPS and what's been being accomplished and what he's been watching. He's been following me for a long time, and I support him and support his wrestlers and all that. And he said, man, you got to obsess for success. I said, what? I said, what'd you say? He said, yeah, man, you got to obsess for success. I said, hey, man. He said, that's going to be the theme for my team this year. You know, you got to be ready to sacrifice. I said, hey, can I use that in my Monday motivation? He said, yeah, man, go ahead. So Jeff gave me the go ahead. You got to obsess for success. Let's talk about that. I really want to lean into this morning. Great topic, okay? What do we define an obsession as, okay? Give me 1 second. Obsession. An idea or thought that continually preoccupies or intrudes on a person's mind. Obsess. And there is, I would say, somewhat a negative connotation to obsession. I will agree with that. However, in the same breath, obsession is the number one habit of highly successful people. Now, wait a minute, Lindsey. How you gonna just say it's a negative connotation, but in the same breath you say it's the number one habit of highly successful people? Well, it depends on what you're obsessing over. Now, here's the thing. What you don't want to do is this. You don't want to obsess over what people think. Now, keep that in mind. You don't want to obsess over what people think. Don't obsess over what they think. But you need to be obsessing over what you're trying to accomplish or what you're trying to do. And I will humbly use SPS as an example. We almost 10 years in the game. Thank you very much. 8 years at this point that SPS has been rocking. I mean, from the day that it was incorporated, from the first pictures that I remember taking and posting the SPS logo to where SPS is right now. And I think all would agree that SPS has made strides. And I dare say it in the most humble way. I'm humbled to say that SPS is becoming a success and a major influencer in the game of amateur sports, helping people be the best who they can be and unlocking potential. So staying with that, using this as an example, I've seen so many people come and fall by the wayside. Even using a podcast, for example, I've seen people have podcast interviews. I said, man, that's dope. And I've been excited for it. I'm like, man, that's a great thing. I love what you're doing. Can't wait to see some more. And what happens? You don't see any more. I mean, I'm talking about these podcasts come up and go down like open up a business or something like that. I mean, it's just they come and they go. And when I talk to people, they say, well, man, this and that. And I just feel that they maybe are expecting a certain kind of immediate success. Let me tell you something. If you're out here doing anything in the social media world, don't get caught up on the likes and what you see as the views, because in many cases, most people don't respond. They just watch. So you can't get caught up on that. But I want to talk a little bit more about that and what successful people talk about. The people who succeed are irrationally passionate about something. That's by Naval Ravikant. Now, who is this gentleman right here? Very successful entrepreneur, somebody just kind of worth being on your radar. I thought I had a photo of him, but just to give you background of what this gentleman is talking about, you know, he's an Indian American entrepreneur, an investor. He's the co-founder and chairman and former chief executive officer of AngelList, also an early stage investor in Uber, Foursquare, Twitter, just to name a few. So when you're talking about the people who are talking about obsessing for success and being obsessed with something, here's an example of what they achieve. Now, if you don't have any intent to make an impact, I'm not judging. I'm not even being, just saying this to kind of put someone down or anything like that, or being condescending or sarcastic. But if you don't have an intent to make an impact, this really doesn't apply. But if you have something that you really want to do, you want to make happen, it can happen. Let me tell you something. Very rarely have I seen someone not succeed at their goals when they're committed to it. Now, I didn't say it happened quick, fast. I didn't say it happened without trials and tribulations and other things. But very rarely, people who are overly committed and obsessed with their goal, it's not that they want to achieve it. You just have to go through this process. And I think you have to be obsessed with success. Another thing about obsessed people. Obsessed people are overly passionate about one thing. People who love the same thing as them and do it as much passion as they get it. Everyone else doesn't understand. That's the obsession. I'll read that part again. People who love the same thing as them and do it with as much passion as they do, they get it. You go rock with the people you rock with. If people are heavy into sports, heavy into podcasting, heavy into physical therapy, heavy into being a cigar aficionado, whatever it is, you're going to be able to rock with them. And I think so many times we get so worried about people not being accepting and just worry about those who are. And if no one is, it doesn't matter. You need to be obsessed with success. You have to obsess for success over and over again. Keep going about it. And if that word obsessed bothers you, if there's a negative connotation, I got one for you. Change it up on them. Another way to say you're obsessed, you're unapologetically consistent. Because that's what Jeff said. He said, Lindsay, man, you're consistent. You keep doing it. Obsessed is you're unapologetically consistent, meaning I don't care, but I'm going to keep showing up. I remember Tom Izzo, when we talk about this great relationship, and I get messages all the time like, man, you and Tom must really have a great relationship. Well, it started after a while, but you know what Tom told me years ago? You know what Tom told me 8 years ago? 8 years ago when I approached Tom, and I would say, hey, Tom, I'm into sports psychology, and we would have our back and forth. But you know what he told me? Keep showing up. Those were his words. He said, keep showing up. And that's the problem. We have opportunity in our lives to keep showing up, but we choose not to. They're voluntary opportunities. That's right, voluntary, because you're not getting the bag when you show up the first day. Because you're so worried about what somebody going to say, man, you getting paid for this? What you getting? You worried about that? Or you again, what do we say? You can't be obsessed with what other people are saying, right? A boy ran in the building, Grand Rising fam. I haven't seen my fam in a minute. Hey, I got a nice pair of 3/4 length Adidas Forms. Baby blue. You'll like those. I'm going to rock those one day and holler at you. You're going to appreciate it. They still in the box. Got that Adidas life. But what I'm saying is, to my brother and others, you got to obsess for success. What is that you want? So many times we have an issue with what we're trying to achieve because of our thinking. And there's a great quote I think can be very helpful for us going forward. Here's the thing. It's not that you can't achieve it. It's just your thinking. We get into this thing where we outthink ourselves and say, no, I can't do it. What they go think? We put all these limitations on ourselves. And sometimes it's best just to roll alone or roll solo, because if you get caught up in trying to please someone or trying to take the vision that God or the Most High placed in your brain and try to explain that to somebody, that's like trying to tell them how a clock works on the inside. Well, then when this go around and it's connected to something else, you can't do it and you shouldn't do it. You don't have an obligation to make somebody believe in what you're trying to do. You got to obsess for success. You got to just get after it. You got to go. And that will mean some sacrifice. That means not being everywhere, not being on the scene, not doing all the things everybody else is doing, because you're obsessing for success. Because what your real goal is, what your real triumph is, what your real trophy is, the goal that you set, what you're trying to achieve, what you laid out. And you can see that. And let me use myself as an example. This grind where I used to have to be going, I still go. It's produced results. And I have obsessed for success, or as we say, I've been unapologetically consistent. Or as Tom Izzo said to me, hey, keep showing up. And when somebody tell you to keep showing up, I got one of my mentees, he knows, if he hears, he knows just what I'm talking about. Somebody say, hey man, we every Wednesday we here at 8 in the morning. Well, seems like your job is includes showing up somewhere on Wednesdays at 8 in the morning, even if it's 30 minutes away or an hour away. What you trying to do? Now, again, I said at the early part of this conversation, if you're not trying to make a major impact, if you don't have a major goal you're trying to achieve, this may not be applicable to you. But somebody somewhere is saying, man, I really want to do this. It's on my heart. It's already been placed on your heart, not mine, not your friends. It's been placed on your heart, which means there's an opportunity there for it to happen. You just have to go through the process to get there, but you have to obsess for success. When you obsess for success, you prioritize. You say, no, I'm not doing that. It's easy to prioritize when you obsess for success and you have goals that, nope, that doesn't fit in. Right now, my PhD is my priority. Continue to grow SPS. Get through this season with Michigan State, get through this season with University of Detroit Mercy. And for the most part, those are the things I'm working on, along with some other things. But between raising my daughter, my PhD, Michigan State basketball, which is soon coming up as football transitions, University of Detroit Mercy, that's my schedule. I'm locked into that. And also supporting Ferndale High School athletic program as a sports psychology consultant. I got a pretty full plate. So I can just obsess over those things. So I say all those things. I list what my daily work is to let you know what I prioritize. Because I can't turn around and do something that's beyond that. And I'm using myself, for example. Do the same for yourself. Obsess for success. Say what it is you want to achieve. Is it a state championship? Is it a national championship? Is it national recognition? Is it open up that business you want to start? You have to obsess for success, and then you clear all the other stuff out the way. And don't feel you got to go and explain and let somebody have to validate you for what you want, and it's not even their idea. You want their sign off. Their opinion is so important to you. And I can understand in some realms, but for what you've been gifted with to put on your heart, to strive for, to toil for, to get, you don't need anyone else to sign off. I just talked about last week. You don't need reservations for the table you're supposed to sit at. You don't need anyone to validate you for what you do. Just be unapologetically consistent and keep working. I told you SPS is almost 10 years in the game. Now, if I sat out and told you, man, yeah, you'd be straight in 10 years, you probably turn the other way. But if it's a labor of love, if it's something you're passionate about, if it's a real dream, every step along the way is enjoyable. I can't remember a time at SPS when it was a tough time or a high time that it wasn't something that I was all there for it, because it's what I wanted to do and what I wanted to achieve, and I'm seeing the benefits. And I tell you this, you get to a point after you've been unapologetically consistent, or as Jeff Howard says, after you obsess for success, you get into that cruise control. Yeah. Or as they say with the new vehicles, that super cruise, where I won't say you can take your hands off the wheel, but it gets to the point, it gets easier, gets more enjoyable, gets more profitable. All these things you probably wanted at the outset, but so many times we want these things at the immediate start, and it doesn't happen like that. So I'm telling you what's going to allow me to go another 10 years and plus, or grow this company to have a major impact globally, is building on those immediate foundations of obsessing for success, being unapologetically consistent, and that's what I want to share with you today. That is my message, folks. A lot of great things can happen for you guys. I want it to happen for you. I want you to believe at the end of the day, you got to obsess for success, and this picture is a great visual. You got to risk it all for what you want to do to get over there and look at it. He got all the pieces right there, and he got a little bit more left, but he's obsessed. He's going to get there, but we're so worried. We're so worried about looking down at our feet. You know, what are we here for? What are we on this planet for? Yeah, to take care of your family, your loved ones, but there's something that's put on your heart you're supposed to achieve. Maybe it's you to be the person at your job that can give an inspiring word to someone, to encourage them. Maybe it's you to make sure that people get the services that they need. It's some role that you're supposed to play, but whatever that is, believe that if you obsess for success, you can make that happen. I don't want anyone sitting here thinking that dream that they have in their heart, or they say, I'm too old to start that now. I'm 48 years old. And I feel like I'm a 21-year-old, and I'm, running with the best. And lastly, when you are working on something that wakes you up in the morning without an alarm clock, when you have something on your heart that motivates you, believe me, it takes the years off. It makes you fly, light of foot, and all those things. It makes you very inspired to go forward. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys. You have to obsess for success. Thanks to my guy Jeff Howard and all the things he's doing over there with the J-Dubs. Again, shout out to the J-Dubs over at Sexton High School in Lansing. And shout out to everyone. Also a special rest in peace to Mr. Joel Ferguson, former MSU trustee who passed away. We were aware of that this weekend. And boy, what a great time we had at Michigan State for homecoming. Michigan is on the clock. That's right. They will be going down to Ann Arbor to see the University of Michigan play Michigan State. Hey, the way Michigan State is playing, the way Michigan is playing, maybe another rivalry week where it's going to be a fun ride back to East Lansing. We'll see. So with that, you guys have a great day, have a great week, have a great month, have a great year, have a great life. Lindsey House and SPS love you. See you later. Peace.